I go to the nearest coffee shop. The nearest coffee shop, which is in walking distance. I don't care if it's a Starbucks or a local coffee place. I go to the place that allows me to get there by walking. I walk and I walk and I walk. I like to walk. Time goes by way slower and I get the chance to breathe the fresh air and get my natural dose of vitamin D. I live by the sea and the breeze removes all of the car fumes. I don't mind spending my $5 on a cup of coffee, no matter whose coffee it is. And I much prefer to do that than to give my money to the oil industry and the vehicle industry and drive a stupid car for a cup of coffee. Generally, that's the case. Once in a while, I don't mind driving to a coffee shop in the company of my son, and he drives. And then it's a lot of fun. Otherwise, it's just ridiculous to be driving to the coffee shop every single time I want to go. I much prefer and don't mind at all to spend my money on coffee, no matter where or when I do. But I assure you that I either walk or take public transportation, or on special occasions when I go there with my son in his car.
That's the boy. And this is like the most beautiful park I've ever seen. It almost looks like a Grecian. Look at that. What is that beautiful building?
I believe that as human beings, sometimes I wonder, why are we here? What's it all about? What's it all about, Alfie? So, I was thinking that as humans, we have this tremendous capacity to create and imagine reality. We constantly strive to find meaning in everything we see and in everything we do. We can take a thing and fill it with meaning. And we're always doing this, and we have always done this. And we have been very proud of ourselves when we find meaning in things. And that's why we developed language, so that we can share our genius with those people that surround us, right? And share our ideas. That's what it's all about. Like, for example, one afternoon I was at a coffee shop drinking, enjoying my coffee and watching people come and go. And I see this young pregnant woman. Now, she looked like a child to me. I'm 71. When you're 71, everybody looks like a child. Everybody looks really young. Anyway, she was pregnant. And it seemed to me that I felt like that she was pregnant with a little girl, not with a little boy. Now, why did I think that? Her belly, she must have been about 6 months pregnant. The belly was showing pretty good. And to me, her belly was shaped in a very peculiar way. But why did I think that it was a girl? And I remembered then that in Guatemala, I'm from Guatemala, that's where I'm from, the women in my community, family members, most of them, would say to me when I was pregnant, they would say, "Oh, Lukey, you're going to have a boy." And I would like, "What? How do you know that it is a boy?" My cousin, whose name is also Lukey, you know, she would say, "You're going to have a boy because your belly is round. That is from the top of your rib cage all the way down to your cervical area. Your belly is round." Wow. I said, wow. And what about if it's a girl? I asked. What would my belly look like then? And my wife's cousin, Lukey, she said, "Well, it is a girl if your belly will hang lower on your abdomen. And that's how you know." Apparently, her and my other cousins and women, family members and friends, this has been their experience. That's why, and it's like they knew it was a girl because they would have girls when the belly was laying lower on the abdomen. So when I looked at this young woman come into the coffee shop, I thought, she's going to have a little girl. I wonder if she knows. Maybe she's dreamt that she's going to have a little girl. Maybe there's an instinct feeling because we're so creative as humans that she's going to have a girl. Like I'm having an instinct feeling that she has a baby girl in her belly. Funny how that works. So this morning I woke up from a dream, a very strange dream at that. But I was dreaming that I was living in a cave. I have no electricity, but I do have a fire if I'm lucky. It's nighttime and I'm kind of hungry, but I must wait until morning to go out and find something to eat. And finding something to eat might take some time. Yet, if I'm lucky, I might be able to consider the idea of storing extra food, which I'm sure, knowing me, that I have some food stored somewhere in my cave. Now, sometimes in dreams you're by yourself and sometimes you're surrounded by people. In this dream, I have a few people around me. My brother, a sister, maybe one parent, no grandparents probably, I don't think, and a couple of other people who are not related. And then there might be several children. Everybody is hungry. And I'm pregnant. My sister is too young to bear children yet. I'm the only one who has children, who has had children, who has born them, and who am pregnant at this particular time in this cave that I find myself in. Now, obviously, it's not 2024. I was in a cave, right? And I'm in a clan, so I think we're like cave people, I don't know how long ago was that? 60,000 years ago? Yeah, it was a strange dream. And it's interesting that I have this dream, and then I'm at this coffee shop and I see this young woman who's pregnant. So I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Now, there's definitely a couple of realities going on here. This young woman who is pregnant, who walks into the coffee shop, she's pregnant right now, 2024. She looks like she might be around 21. I, on the other hand, I was pregnant in 1974. Okay, 74, 84, 94, 2004, 2014, 2024. That was 50 years ago. I'm sure that because we're separated by 50 years of time, it was a very different time than today. But just the whole experience was very different. And I'm sure that the way we're approaching our pregnancies are very different. I don't remember too much about mine. I remember that I was just pregnant. I was very young. I was 19. It was a long time ago. And now I'm here today, and she walks in, and then I have this cave woman dream. So I don't know, it's interesting. Strange things for sure. It does make for a good story though. Creating and giving birth to a whole new human being is a pretty substantial event, no matter what time period we're thinking about or you're living in. And it changes your perception of things. You might not be realizing how it changes it because you're in the moment and you're young and you just don't have that capacity to ponder on what's happening. You're just like, it's just happening, and you're in the doing mode at that point in time. It's later on that you reflect. You realize, wow, it is a big deal. Giving birth, having a child is a big deal. And to survive a childbirth is a big deal, especially even for example, in my grandmother's time. So in 1917, when she was a childbearing woman, she had 8 children. She had 8 pregnancies. I had one. She didn't have her children in a hospital. She had her children at home with a midwife present, not a doctor. So that cave woman in my dream, whoa, that was a whole different reality, right? These little babies that have been born throughout all these years, all this time, they all eventually grow up and become full-fledged adult human beings who will live their life and create new life and bring new life forward. Because as humans, that is what we do. It's such a wonderful thing to think that we keep recycling ourselves. It's very interesting.